I don't like to read comments. I actively avoid them. But every once in a while, I'll see like a YouTube video pop up says, "Is Eagle gonna ever have his sidearm back again? Oh, is Eagle done?" Those comments are always like ripping me apart, but at the same time, they're fueling me.
Eagle McMahon came out of nowhere to win the 2022 European Open, his second major win of his career. Many of us didn't even know he was going to compete until he dropped the news on Simon Lazat's channel just days before the competition started.
I'm throwing, I'm happy to be playing, and European Open Worlds, that's the plan for right now.
After taking the past 3 months to rehab and rebuild his strength, Eagle looked to be in top form, confidently attacking the course and throwing the shots we've grown accustomed to seeing from him. That is, except for his sidearm. Even without one of the greatest weapons in disc golf, Eagle went head-to-head with Paul McBeth, slugging it out over 4 intense rounds, where they were never separated from each other by more than 3 strokes. We'll take a look at the changes Eagle made to his game which were crucial to his victory, why he might be even better than before, and why he may not need a sidearm after all. The 2022 European Open featured some truly memorable moments. There was this thing. We had sneaky caddy massages, incredible predictions.
It's not like he's going to tombstone this in the green.
Watching it closely.
More T-pad drama, and of course, the token shirtless guy.
Oh yeah!
In addition to a record-breaking final day gallery of over 5,000 people, we had an all-time McBattle between McBeth and McMahon. Eagle and Paul were on the same card for each of the 4 rounds, and by the end of the first round, they began to pull away from the rest of the field. By midway through the second round, the lead between second and third place continued to grow, and it became apparent that it was a 2-horse race for the title. When Eagle hit the final putt to beat Paul by a stroke, the gap between second and third had ballooned to 16 strokes. We looked back at the recent history of cases where there was a 2-player battle for first where both players had significantly separated from the field. The parameters used are first and second place within 3 strokes and a gap between second and third place of 7 or more strokes. At the 2022 European Open, the gap between McBeth and Kevin Jones in third place was 16 strokes. The 2016 Masters Cup, 2019 PDGA World Championships, and 2021 GMC featured gaps of 8 strokes. 2019 D-Glow had a spread of 7 strokes between second and third. Here's Eagle discussing how he's been treating his shoulder.
I got stem cell injection in my shoulder. That was around the 1st of June. I took about 3 weeks off of not really doing anything, and then started working with a new trainer. And so every day has been busy. I've been throwing shots, lefty, righty, gradually ramping back up to where I can feel confident in my backhand. So it's been a lot of work back home for this event in particular. So.
Well, it's great to see you, but you clearly don't have one of the main tools in your bag right now, which is that forehand. You said at the beginning of the week, well, I don't know that I necessarily need a forehand on this course.
And Eagle was absolutely right. In upshot situations where he would historically pitch up with a sidearm to the basket, he relied on Anheuser or turnover shots with his putter.
Oh, he's really not reaching for the sidearm. As Terry called it, that slope of the green would have been perfect for a sidearm pitch up.
Often having to adopt the patent pending stance to execute these approach and scramble shots, Eagle showed great angle and height control, landing his disc softly and almost always at an angle that matched the green.
Again, with the lack of a sidearm here, Brian, a tough scramble from this side of the fairway.
Wow.
Dialed in and finding ways to attack the basket while minimizing his risk, Eagle's short game excelled without his forehand. Eagle also adjusted his game off the tee. Hole 2 sets up perfectly for the right-handed forehand, so much so that Eagle went to a left-handed backhand shot instead of attempting a right-handed turnover. On shots that call for significant height on the disc with a finish to the right, we may see this left-handed backhand from Eagle more often.
McMahon, we're going to see the turnover backhand as opposed to the lefty backhand.
Occasionally, we're seeing Eagle take the same lines that James Conrad takes. McMahon is often throwing his putter, the Rainmaker, on these sub-350-foot turnover shots. This is hole 13 from the 2019 European Open. Historically, Eagle went with a forehand off the tee. He gets plenty of distance and leaves himself about 250 to 300 feet into the green from here. This year, Eagle went with a backhand roller, smashing it down the fairway, 100 to 150 feet further than his forehand would go. This is a case where Eagle seems to be reinventing his approach to the game, and the result could be an even better disc golf version of himself. So, were we wrong about Eagle McMahon? Will we ever see him throwing forehands again? Even if Eagle returns to 100% and feels confident in his ability to throw his sidearm, maybe he decides it isn't worth the risk of re-injury. Forehands can be a useful tool, but not necessary to have success. Even without his sidearm, Eagle's talent and ability to adapt his style of play doesn't mean his dominance is going anywhere. If you've watched this far, please make sure you're subscribed so that you can support us in continuing to make disc golf content for you. In the comments below, let us know what you thought of the Disc Golf Network's coverage of the 2022 European Open.